DreamWorks Animation's The Wild Robot, released as the studio marks its 30th anniversary, has been conceived as a throwback to animated fantasias of yore. No egregious celebrity voice artist. Showboating. No revivals of half-forgotten 90s Eurodance hits. Not a single squeaking minion. To behold. Writer-director Chris Sanders goes back as far as 2002's Lilo and Stitch, and gave DreamWorks an enduring hit with the tangible old-school craft of 2010's How to Train Your Dragon. The look he oversees for this new film meshes digital innovation with the painterly, hand-rendered backdrops of golden-era Disney, and the messaging on parenting dates from around the same era. The film is nominally set around 2050, but its roots and underlying belief systems predate the Eisenhower era. In its story, reshaped from Peter Brown's 2016 book, Sanders' film recalls a more recent era, those Digimation space race days when DreamWorks and Pixar were scrapping over the same promising ideas. The pitch here must have been something like, and quote, "What if Wall-E fell back to Earth, and quote, instead of a boxy droid, we have a spherical helpmate, Roz, voiced by Lupita. Nyong'o introduced crash landing on a planet with a familiarly leafy look and abundant flora and fauna, but also elevated water levels that have left the Golden Gate Bridge semi-submerged. In her first days on the planet, Roz befriends an egg, after which the plot starts writing itself. The egg hatches. A gosling named Brightbill, Kit Connor, emerges, robot comes to care for Bird, and eventually learns some creatures are destined to fly away. There is, however, something missing. Any real sense of where you and I are in this picture, and with that, any reason to be especially moved or stirred. In WALLE, you'll recall, the human beings were slovenly creatures slumming in hyperspace, their planet done for by decades of mindless overconsumption. 15 years on, you have to admit this was fair representation. For all its pretty artistry, Sanders' film may rank among the bleakest movie visions of 2024. Effectively, it's describing what happens once Mother Nature finally turfs humanity out, leaving her to duel with the new pollution of AI for planetary supremacy. It's silent running without Bruce Dern, just the droids and the plants. Now, clearly, Brown and Sanders intended for us to find ourselves anew in the nurturing relationship between protective robot and helpless chick, or perhaps in the sly fox, Pedro Pascal, wisecracking possum, Catherine O'Hara, or grumpy beaver, Matt Berry, on disappointingly well-behaved form. But as rendered here, they're merely agglomerations of chips and wires on one hand, and anthropomorphized pixels on the other. The animators can thus mirror certain impulses and instincts, emotions, and processes. Their most extensive art is reserved for rendering the changing of very extreme seasons. But they make only fleeting contact with anything that might resemble human truth, a failing underlined by the absence of a single distinctive authorial fingerprint. For that idiosyncrasy, you'd need the dirt and dust of Wall-E, the Huesian rust with which Brad Bird speckled his adaptation of the Iron Giant, or just the salty trash of a second-string DreamWorks endeavor like 2006's Over the Hedge, artifacts that weren't so relentlessly damp-eyed and pious, so determined to do all our sobbing for us. Overlook the conservatism of its message, and the wild robot plays harmlessly enough. There's nothing on screen you might object to, as parents did to the bit with the tumble dryer in Lilo and Stitch. That strikes me as the reason for the movie's box office success. It's a safe bet, but it also feels like an artistic limitation. I rapidly developed a Craving for the raw meat, Jan Schwankmajer jolts into life in his animated bedtime stories. By contrast, Sanders' film, forever sterile in its prettiness, presents as so much white clean product. Another assembly line pacifier turned out by button-pushing automatons. Is this the future? The Wild Robot is now playing in cinemas nationwide.